And of course, we'd like to welcome you all this morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the City of Bellflower's 2015 State of the City program and luncheon. I think most of you know me. My name is Scott Larson. I'm certainly proud to be here today, and I represent you as your Mayor Pro Tem for our great city. We appreciate all of you joining us today as we take a look at the many things that are making Bellflower strong today and even stronger tomorrow. A little bit later, Mayor Sonny Santianez will be highlighting some of our strengths in 2014 and the investments and projects that the coming year of 2015 will bring. And then beyond that, we're going to try to make Bellflower even better than it is. This great event always gives us a chance to highlight the strengths of our community and the people in it. But this year, we think it's worth noting just how strong we are as a city and the projects we are investing in to make Bellflower even stronger. The theme of today's event is Strong Today, Stronger Tomorrow. And I thank you, and I think you'd all agree that we can and should be proud of our community and proud of where it's going. But it's not without a lot of hard work from a lot of people in our community that Bellflower has come as far as we have. And it is also not without those same people that we have to look to the future. So before we get started, I'd like to invite one of those people to the front of to join me, the Reverend Father Michael, as he likes to be known. He serves our community over at St. Bernard's. And I'd like to invite him up front to lead us in our invocation. Father Mike, would you please come?
It's good to see you. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, amen. Almighty and eternal Father, we thank you for bringing us together this afternoon. We thank you for this wonderful city which you have given us. We thank you for the life and the safety which you have provided for us. And we thank you for the citizens of this wonderful city, the good spirit you have blessed most of them with that help us to help each other. Almighty and eternal Father, as we gather this afternoon, we now ask your blessing upon our meal, upon our discussion, upon our gathering together. Keep all of us safe. Keep all of us happy. We ask this through Christ our Lord. Amen.
Thank you, Father Michael. Next, we have a special treat today as we are joined by one of Bellflower's newest Boy Scout troops, Troop 1776. Now, we all know the importance of that year, right? So I'd like to invite Troop 1776 to lead us in the presentation of our colors and the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by the national anthem led by Serena Ruiz of the Mayfair High School Mariners. So please join me in welcoming Troop 1776 and Serena Ruiz as we honor our country. Would you all please stand?
Color guard attention. Color guard forward march. Color guard halt. Color guard cross colors. Color guard present colors. Scout salute. Those not in uniform, please place your right hand over your heart. Please join us in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Ready? 2. Color guard, post the flag of the United States of America. Color guard, post the flag of the great state of California. Color guard, honor your colors. Ready? 2. Color guard, return to ranks. Color guard dismissed.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you so very much. Weren't they great? You may be seated. Yes, our country will continue to be great with young people like these. Thank you, Serena. Thank you, Troop 1776. At this time, I'd like to take a few minutes to recognize some of the faces we have with us here today. I'd like to take a moment to recognize the members of your Bellflower City Council. So joining us today, of course, is Mayor Sonny Santianez, Council Member Ray Dutton, Council Member Ron Schnablager, and Council Member Dan Coops. Also, we're pleased to welcome Bellflower Unified School District Board members, their President, Jerry Cleveland. Jerry, there he is. Vice President Dr. Paul Helzer, is he here? He didn't make it, all right. Clerk Sue L. Hessen, there she is. Hello, Sue. And member Laura Sanchez Ramirez. They're also joined by the Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Brian Jacobs. Also honoring us today is Congresswoman Linda Sanchez. Thank you for joining us. Representing State Senator Tony Mendoza's office is Aldo Ramirez. There he is. Representing Assemblywoman Cristina Garcia is Patrick Sumpanich. Patrick, there he is. And representing LA County Supervisor Don Kanabe is Aaron Stable. Aaron, there you are. Please allow me to introduce some of our key city staff. City Manager Jeff Stewart, there he is. City Clerk Deborah Backup. Deborah, there she is. Our City Attorney Joe Pannoni, there he is. Assistant City Manager Lee Mingle. Economic Development Director Brian Lee. There. Planning Director Rafael Guzman, there back there. Finance Director Tay Ree. Tay, he's probably counting pennies somewhere. Parks and Recreation Director PJ Milana. There he is. Big part of putting this on today. Public Safety Director Joel Hockman. And our new Public Works Director, Len Gorecki. I pronounced it right, huh? Also, we have a few of our past mayors with us today, so would you please welcome Ray Smith, Michael Broussard, and Randy Baumgars. I don't see any of the other former mayors. Please join me in welcoming and thanking our well-serving public safety personnel that are with us here today. They're from the LA County Fire Department and the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department, as well as our brave citizens who are serving in all of the branches of our armed forces. We would like to recognize all of you. If you would please stand up, we'd appreciate if you would so we can recognize you. Thank you for what you do for us each and every day and for our community and in protecting the lives and the citizens here in Bellflower. We'd also like to recognize all of our other public officials here with us this afternoon. We appreciate each of you taking time out of your busy schedules to be with us here. So thank you all for joining us today to highlight our community's achievements. And now, before I let you go for lunch, we have the honor to give a special recognition to two of our many partners that have helped in making Bellflower stronger. First 5 LA believes that the first 5 years of life establish the foundation for the future success of our children. They put parents at the center of their work, since parents and caregivers are at the heart of a child's development, and they actively seek out partnerships with local communities. The LA Conservation Corps is the nation's largest urban conservation corps and LA's preeminent youth development organization. They give young people an opportunity to improve their circumstances while they heal their communities. Their programs equip our young people with life skills and work experience by employing them in a variety of conservation projects. Some of those projects include building parks, planting trees, refurbishing hiking trails, and building community gardens. They also provide them with a high school education in their affiliated charter school. Their ultimate goal is to prepare LA County's forgotten youth for post-secondary education and living wage jobs, and to inspire them to change themselves, their communities, and the world around them. Recently, as the mayor is going to tell you a little later, First 5 LA and the LA Conservation Corps partnered with the city of Bellflower to transform the tot lot at Thompson Park into another shining example of what makes Bellflower great. At a cost of $200,000, First 5 LA provided the funding for the project, and the Conservation Corps oversaw the design and the construction after an extensive community outreach and design process. On the screen, you'll see just a few pictures of the transformation, and if you've not had a chance to go over there and visit the tot lot, I encourage you to do so. The park now offers child-friendly amenities that are both safe and engaging, but also specifically designed for children ages 0 through 5 to get active and to get outdoors. It is only with partners like these that we are able to make Bellflower strong today and stronger tomorrow. And now I'll ask Karen Robertson Fall of First 5 LA, as well as Wendy Butts, Dory Burry, Jose Ramirez, Danny Ramos, Michael Mendez, Jonathan Ramirez, and Jose Analco from the LA Conservation Corps to join my council colleagues. and myself up here in front, and I ask all you to join me, please, as we recognize these two organizations for their contributions in making Bellflower strong. They put in a lot of hard work over there, and let's show our appreciation one more time. So now, the moment you've all been waiting for, lunch. Lunch today is provided by Richard and his crew over there at Cafe Camellia. I'd like to thank Cafe Camellia for their continued support of our community. Please enjoy your lunch and enjoy the rest of the program, and thank you very much for coming today.
Bellflower is a great community. It's centrally located. It's close to employment.
I've been a part of this project in Bellflower for many years and been very happy to know that I had a partner, and that partner was actually the city.
It just showed me that, people were really excited about something new here.
The City of Bellflower has helped Hambone's Barbecue Bar and Grill to become a success in every step of the way.
Top to bottom, we found that the City of Bellflower has been the easiest city for us to work with in our initiatives.
Everyone, can you hear me? I'm wired. Good afternoon. Thank you so much for coming to this event. It's a great event for the city, and I want to thank you for taking a time from your busy schedule. First of all, I'd like to thank our Mayor Pro Tem, Scott Larson, for a wonderful introduction and presentation. And also, I want to thank staff for this wonderful event, the decoration. I want to thank Cafe Camellia for the wonderful food that you are currently eating, hopefully. All right, very good. The theme for this year's State of the City is Strong Today, is Stronger Tomorrow. The city, we believe, is strong today. And why do we say that? Just a glimpse of the awards we got last year, 2014. And we'll talk about this more in detail as we go on. But this is a manifestation that people notice, starting to notice the city of Bellflower. What makes us strong as a city? Public safety, economic development, and quality of life. Let me start with public safety. As government officials, our number one priority is to make the city safe. Making the city safe it doesn't happen by accident. It takes a lot of efforts. It takes partnership. And here are the partners of this great public safety efforts. We have community partners. We have neighborhood watch. We have volunteers on patrol. Under law enforcement, we have the special assignment officers. We have the traffic officers. We have our detectives. We have our fire department. In the city departments, we have our public safety department, code enforcement, our CSOs, our community service officers. Our legal partners consist of our deputy district attorney, our probation officers, and our prosecutor. So all in all, these groups individually work together to keep us safe. And here are the results of that collaborative effort. In 2014, Bellflower experienced the lowest crime rate ever. So at this time, I'd like to invite all our law enforcement officers, fire department, CSOs, neighborhood watch, volunteers patrol, everyone involved in public safety, please stand up to be recognized. We want to thank you. Thank you so much for all that you do. And I want to share you some of the traffic data that happens around the city. In 2014, we have 14% fewer accidents. There were 70% fewer injury accidents. There was a significant increase in DUI arrests, and that's because of the efforts of our law enforcement agencies. However, there's very slight increase in bike collisions. On the other hand, there was a small decrease also in pedestrian collisions. During the year, unfortunately, we experienced a small spike in burglary. The good news is, through the efforts of our law enforcement agencies, 2 individuals were identified and arrested, and the burglary rate went down. One of our challenges also in the city is marijuana dispensary. And it's a tough challenge because if you recall, possessing marijuana is legal in California, right? However, they're not allowed to sell marijuana within the city limits. During the last 2 years, 7 of these dispensaries were closed. That's through the efforts of working to the public safety department and our law enforcement department. And also, we just used one of the best tools in our toolbox, which is the temporary restraining order to shut them down. One of the better things in Bellflower is Neighborhood Watch, and I applaud people who participate in Neighborhood Watch. They are the eyes and ears of the city. And if you look at the city, if we have the money, we can put a cop in every street corner, if we have the money. But do you want to see that? I don't think you do, because it's going to be a militarized city. But Neighborhood Watch is people living within the community. They keep their eyes and ears on what's going on in their own neighborhood. They're well trained to prevent crime and report crimes when they occur. During the year 2014, we added 12 new block captains. We also held an annual citywide block captains meeting, which was very well attended. The Neighborhood Watch, if you're active in this, they hold their monthly or quarterly meetings depending on the area where you live. The other portion of our community partners is volunteers and patrol. This is something that is underutilized by the citizens of Bellflower. They do a wonderful job. One of the best things I learned from them is when you go on vacation, you can call the sheriff's department and someone will check into your house to make sure that there's nothing bad happen when you are on vacation. And we are so proud that we have 39 volunteers in Bellflower. Another way you can participate in our community event is to the National Night Out. Last year, our public safety department, law enforcement, fire department, they visited 6 sites, and there's over 400 people participating. One of the advantages in participating in this event is you get to learn more about public safety. You get to meet people who are in charge, who are doing what they do to keep us safe. For those who are into technology, we're now using a very good tool called Nixle. How many of you have a smartphone, go on the internet? Raise your hand. Okay, all right. You can access Nixle. And Nixle is a way that our public safety officials communicate with us what is going on in our community. They tell us if there's going to be a DUI checkpoint. They tell us if there's any emergency. They tell us if there's some kind of operation going on. So you are alert. We are alerted of what's going on in the community. So after this meeting, if you have not signed up, please sign up. It's so easy, and you'll get information about our public safety. Another thing that makes the city strong is our finances. Your city is very fiscally conservative. We work on a 2-year budget cycle. In 2013-14, our total revenue budget is $38.6 million. 31% of that is restricted. So only 69% is discretionary, that we have options as to where we want to spend the money. That's our intake. It's coming mainly from taxes. 62% of our revenue is coming from taxes, primarily from property tax and sales tax. The other big portion of this pie, so to speak, is intergovernment revenue, coming from federal, state, and county. So if you combine these two significant slices of the pie, 80% of our revenue is coming from taxes and intergovernment revenues. Now, where does the money go? You want to ask that, right? Where's my tax dollars going? Our expenses is in line with the city's priority, your priority. The biggest chunk of the pie, 31%, is public safety. Keep in mind, I mentioned earlier, that is our #1 priority. And your budget, our budget, reflects that. Next is public works. We want to have nice streets. Trees are trimmed. So 25% of our budget is spent on public works. We want to have more revenue coming in. That's where community development comes in. 15% of our budget is spent on community development. For quality of life, parks and recreation, 5% of our budget. So if you add together all these priorities that you set for us as your city council, 80%, or well, 3/4 of our budget is spent on your priority. Now, let's compare Bellflower with LA County. In terms of unemployment, our unemployment rate is trending down alongside with LA County, which is good, okay? It's unfortunate that some people are unemployed, but that's reality. Now, on the right chart, median housing price, the home price in Bellflower is the red line. The blue line is the county. The bad news is there's a big gap between the average home price in LA County compared to Bellflower. Bellflower's median price about $375,000, and then LA County is $475,000. But please keep in mind that LA County includes some of our more affluent communities like Palos Verdes, Beverly Hills, Pasadena, San Marino. Okay? So it's not too bad. But in terms of the way it's trending the same way as the county. Now, going back to the sources of revenue, the main source of revenue is tax, and major portion of that is coming from property tax. Now, keep in mind, I mentioned earlier about the median home price in Belleville, $375,000. Now, for every dollar of property tax that you pay, your city gets 7 cents. For every dollar of property tax you pay, your city gets 7 cents. Okay? Now, let's compare that to the median home price of $375,000. Assuming that we take out the property exempt of $7,000, that is the assessed value at $375,000, your tax bill, property tax bill, is about $3,750. So what do you contribute towards the city? It's about $250 of your property tax bill goes to the city. And the rest goes to LA County and the schools. Now, the next tax generator is a sales tax. The current sales tax right now is 9%. Okay? So for every dollar that you spend, the city gets a penny. Okay? So if you buy a $3 cup of coffee, Bellflower gets 3 cents out of that. It's a small amount. Mind you, it's a small amount. But if you add all this together, with millions of dollars in what we spend, the city gets more money. Let me just point out that the bigger chunk of the sales tax goes to the state. What's about our general fund revenues? Comparing the revenue, general fund revenue from 2006 and 7 to 2013-14, if you look at the blue line, if you look at the green line, which kind of splits from the blue line in 2011 and 12, that's what we took, over $26 million in general fund revenue. Now, because of what we passed, Measure P, plus other adjustments, like the property tax allocation formula settlement with the county, plus a one-time insurance refund from JPIA, we took an additional $1.1 million in 2011 and 12 and 13. That's why you see the small spike. Now, in 2013 and 14, that's the first year that we realized the full impact of Measure P, which gave us $1.46 million. That's why if you look at the chart, it's about $28 million, considering those changes. Now, the bad news is the red line. If you adjust what we took over those years and adjust it to the CPI, we are lagging behind by $3 million in 2013 and 14. So we need to do better. We know we're good, but we will do better. Your city has been maintaining a very nice reserve. If you notice this, 2011, 12, 13, 14, it's kind of level, about $6.4 million, $6.6 million. Our total reserve is about $14.4 million. But out of that, we set aside $8 million per contingency. That's something that we wouldn't touch unless there is a serious contingency. So our flexibility in terms of general fund is only about $6.6 million, which is very nice to have. Over all this, as I mentioned earlier, we're a very conservative city. We have a very good finance department. And this is a manifestation of the award of the excellence they have been getting. Over the last 20 consecutive years, our finance department has been awarded this Excellence Achievement Award. And that's coming from the Government Finance Officers Association. And only very few cities can boast that. The next two topics I want to talk about is something that I have to be very careful because there's legal things about this. Unfortunately, we've been sued twice, okay? And I want to be very transparent about this. The first litigation is called the Voting Rights Act. The good news is it's been settled. So let me describe to you what the Voting Rights Act is all about, how we got sued. And let me be very careful. And so I want to kind of read in a nutshell to describe to you what the lawsuit is all about. And this is a direct quotation from one of the plaintiffs. Bellflower's at-large method of election prevents Latino and African American voters from electing candidates of their choice. That was the crux of the lawsuit. As I mentioned earlier, it was settled. The bad news is it cost our city $275,000 to settle this case. That money could have been used for public safety, economic development, parks, and so on and so on. We will find a lot of uses for this money. But the good news is you, the voters, will get to decide. In November 2016, you'll be given a choice if you want to keep the at-large election or if you want to switch in the election by district. The second part of the settlement is we will ask the county, LA County, to consolidate our election from March to the general elections in November. The second lawsuit was brought about by Glory Tabernacle Christian Center. To describe this case, the church, by the way, we have more than 60 churches in Bellflower, just kind of perspective. This church applied to open a church on Bellflower and Walnut. They went through the process, applying for a conditional use permit. They were approved by the Planning Commission. They were approved by the City Council, again, with conditions. In spite of that, they sued the city. And we just learned, and again, being part of transparency here, we just learned that the U.S. Department of Justice started an investigation about this allegation. But on advice of counsel, that's all the information that I can share with you at this point. Joe, did I do well? All right, thank you. I was walking on eggshell here. Whew. All right, let's move into the fun stuff again. Okay, infrastructure. All right, we did a lot towards improving the city. Lots of capital projects. How many of you remember that house on Virginia Avenue south of Alonda that backs into the middle of the street? How many of you remember that? Oh, it was a nightmare because whenever I visit my friend, former council member Dorothy King, oh my goodness, I'm going through this. And fortunately, there was never been an accident on that area. But we purchased the property, and now look at the right picture. It's clean. People can drive straight now without worrying about that house backyard that backs into the street. Next one is, as we know, we're promoting Bellflower to new businesses. People are coming to Bellflower, and your council and your staff are being proactive. Because one of the challenges we're going to have is parking, okay? And we want to address that issue now. All right, so what we did is, there's that small lot right north of Cafe Camellia, which the city basically is renting, leasing, and that gave us an additional 21 parking spaces available to the public. We also improved Carruthers Park and Sims Park to make it more ADA compliant. We improved the restroom at Carruthers Park and the parking space at Sims Park. We also replaced our air conditioning unit on City Hall. The old unit was older than my good friend Dan Coops. 25 years old, okay? Mind you, 25 years old only, okay? All right, so we replaced that. We also improved the AV system in City Hall so that you, the viewers, can hear us better, can listen better, can see us better on television. We also replaced the roof on Sims Park, where you are right now. Okay? This roof was over 20 years old, and the new roof is more energy efficient. We also made improvements in our municipal water system. We added a phosphate treatment in the high-capacity well. We also added a chlorine analyzer. And as you recall, California is suffering the most serious drought in many, many years. So there was some imposition from the state for us to conserve water. And we're doing that. We're good citizens, and we're doing just that. And we're also letting you know that the rebates from MWD are still available. So take advantage of that. We also improved Bellflower Boulevards and Palo Verde. If you recall, if you are heading north on Bellflower Boulevard, making a left turn onto Rosecrans, we made the left turn pocket much longer so that more cars can be queued. We also resurfaced a number of streets in the city. Artist Avenue, Beverly Street, Oak Street, Palm Street, and Park Street. In total, we resurfaced over 2 miles of streets in the city in 2014. In addition to that, we reslurried a lot of streets in Bellflower. In total, we reslurried 11 miles of your city streets. Bellflower has about 93 miles of streets in the city. So in 2014, if you combine the resurfacing and reslurring, we did about 13 miles. Our goal is to complete the resurfacing and reslurring once every 7 years. So we're in track in meeting that obligation. Another thing that makes us strong is economic development. Economic development will feed our quality of life because we need money. We need money, mind you, we need money to give you the quality of life that you ask, that you deserve. And the fuel for that is our economic development. Habitat for Humanity opens shops on Artesia Boulevard. It's a huge store. I love it, okay? If you want to get some of your construction materials, furniture, go to Habitat for Humanity. And this location will be the regional training center. The 4 kiosks on Belmont Street are now all occupied for the first time, okay? We have the usual shoe shop. He's been there forever, ever since from the very beginning. There's the alteration shop, uniform shop, and the magic shop. This adds to the walkable destination on Bellflower Boulevard. Holland International Market. How many of you have shopped at the Holland American Market on Artesia? Okay, you remember that. Unfortunately, they closed. But through the efforts of our economic development staff, one of the employees, they worked with her to find another location. And she opened shop on Belmont Street going towards City Hall. And she is very successful. Both Cigar Lounge opened its shop on Bellflower Boulevard, the old sewing machines building. This is Bo's third location, but the largest location so far. Fashionista, for all the ladies, they opened shop on Lakewood Boulevard and Alondra. Huge space. Used to be the old DeWalt retail store. When Staples closed, the one on Lakewood and Artesia closed down, a new opportunity came in, Planet Fitness, 24/7 fitness center. When Big G closed on the northeast of Rosecrans and Woodruff, Dollar Tree came in. And on the opposite side, Popeye's Chicken, where Winners Theater used to be, is now Popeye's Chicken. The Nest, when Frank's moved from Alondra site to the downtown, that space became available. Fortunately, with the creative mind of Mike and Antonio, who are the owners, they opened the Nest. It's been very, very successful. As mentioned to you by Mayor Danton last year, we're starting to have the approval for the 7-Eleven on Clark and Artesia. It's now a reality. This used to be a smog shop and an auto repair shop. All of this, we're attracting name brands, national brands. And I'd like to recognize everyone who has a business in Bellflower. Please stand up to be recognized. Thank you so much for investing in Bellflower. We know that you have we have a lot of choices, but you chose Bellflower, and we thank you for that. One of the ways we communicate with our citizens is through the newsletter. Unfortunately, because of the cost involved in a printed paper, we kind of move away from that. But we want to continue communicating with you. And one way you can get communication, information about your city, is to the e-citizen bulletin. You can sign up by logging into www.bellflower.org, and you can get up the latest information about your city. Now, as I opened this presentation earlier, one of the awards we got is called the Eddie Awards. I know there's still a lot of things that have been said about Bellflower not being a business-friendly city. I'm asking you, that is the past. And let me prove it to you why. Because last year, 2014, your city was recognized as one of the 5 most friendly, business-friendly large cities in LA County. That's a big thing. And you can share the word with your friends that the door has been changed, Bellflower is now business-friendly. And it's a great recognition because if you perspective-wise, there are over 88 cities in LA County, and to be recognized to be one of the top 5 is a big thing. Our Economic Development Department also was recognized by the California Association of Local Economic Development for their work in downtown Bellflower. Now, not only Bellflower is being recognized, unfortunately or fortunately, depending on your perspective, our staff is also being recognized. And because of the work that they did in Bellflower, 2 of our key managers are moving on to other cities because they know that these managers did a wonderful job in the city. So I want to recognize Chris Christopoulos and Andre Ho, if they're here. Thank you so much for your service to Bellflower, and we wish you the best in your next endeavor. What makes us strong? The third one is quality of life. You want to have good quality of life. I want to have good quality of life. The first stop of the quality of life segment of this presentation is Parks and Recreation. We recognize First 5 LA Conservation Corps for their work in funding, designing, and constructing the tot lot at Thompson Park. I just want, this happened last year, but I just want to emphasize one very good point about this park. There is a teeter-totter in the tot lot that accommodates both the abled and disabled children. Can you imagine a child in a wheelchair being able to be wheeled into the teeter-totter and experience the same thing as an able child can experience? That's a big thing. Last year, we hosted 4 Fridays of food trucks and movie nights called Flex. And I don't need to tell you how many people attended. If you went to Town Center Plaza, it was full. Okay, you can see the picture. Lots of people. They enjoyed the movie, they enjoyed the food. The food trucks are just fantastic. Summer Street Fest was another attraction. We conducted this in 4 Thursdays last year. Okay, people having fun. More than 9,000 people participated in this great event. The Christmas tree lighting ceremony, the only day that it snows in Bellflower. And by the way, we took the first official selfie on that event. And that's the proof. All right. Bellflower, as you know, is a praying city. We're very prayerful. We hosted the National Day of Prayer. It was hosted by the Ministerial Association of Bellflower. How many cities can boast that they have a ministerial association? I think very few. And we also have the Mayor's Prayer Breakfast. It was hosted by Kingdom Causes Bellflower. We also hosted the Joint Service Lunch as part of that event. We are a firm believer that government can only do so much, but it's you, the volunteers, that can make the difference. Society is at its best when government partners with private individuals. So I want to thank all those who are members of a service club, who volunteer in Bellflower, to please stand because we want to thank you. Well, continuing on the awards that the city has been getting, let me move on. Even Parks and Recreation was recognized this year. It was recognized by the California Parks and Recreation Society for the wonderful brochure that they put out. Did you notice the change in the brochure that's been put out the last year or so? They've been wonderful. So they deserve the recognition. I'd like to recognize our Parks and Rec staff. Please stand up. Thank you so much. And also, we add another feature. Online registration is now available. If you want to sign up for a class that's offered by the Parks and Rec Department, you can go online and sign up. Please use that. What will make us stronger tomorrow? It's a good question. There's so many things that make us stronger in tomorrow. As our number one priority is public safety. The new tool will be available in the next couple of months. I discussed to you about Nixle. It's giving us information coming from public safety officials. Nextdoor will give us more capability. In addition to getting information from public safety officials, you can also use this to communicate with your neighbors. Set up meetings among your neighborhood watch block captain. If there's a missing dog in your area, you can report that. So once this becomes available, we will let you know because we encourage you to sign up for this new technology. We're also revamping our website to make it more user-friendly, to make it a lot easier to navigate from one page to another. So it's coming up very soon. Oh, Golden Corral. Yay! I'm telling you, this was the most attended grand opening ever I've seen. There's tons of people last night. Anyway, why will this help our city become stronger? As I mentioned last night, they estimate between 1,500 to 3,000 meals to be served every day. Can you imagine the number of people from our city, from outside the city, who will come to that location? Okay? It's a big thing. And another thing also it's going to help us is they employ over 200 employees. And more than half of the employees are from Bellflower. So it's open. And according to my good friend Ray Dunnan, there was a long line this morning at 10:30. 10 o'clock. Wow. Okay. Next thing is, this was started a couple of years ago. This was discussed last year. This is a new development in the old bowling alley on Alondra. Do you remember that? Okay. It's now under construction. We will be getting 67 brand new townhomes, 10 of which are what we call the work-live units that will give us about 7,000 square feet of commercial space. And when I visited the construction site last week, one work-live unit is already sold. It's still under construction. The second project of the Boulevard Collection is a project of City Ventures. The next project is called Downtown Collection. It's going to be on Oak Street, just east of Bellflower Boulevard, where the transit center is currently located. It will give us about 18 townhomes. And we expect this to be constructed starting in mid-2015. Last year, Mayor Dunn shared with us information about the new fire museum. We've come a long way since then. We have now, the design has been completed, the funding has been identified, and we're working on identifying the contractor. So we're expecting to break ground this summer. And I want to recognize the members of the Fire Museum Association. Please stand up. Thank you so much for working with us, the city, to bring this wonderful addition to the boulevard. Another development in the city is the Kaiser Hospital. It's now a medical center. There were two buildings. One was retrofitted, the other one was demolished. And in place of that, they're building a smaller building. But the good news is, the smaller building, it will create a kind of environment, a college environment, and they will install large panels of solar. And it will give them, it's one of the largest solar panel installation in LA County. That will be enough to power 4 floors of their building. Now, one of the best tools that our economic development has been using in the past is to sell the city. And they were very successful, because if I recall correctly, in their first attempt to attend this conference, nobody knew about Bellflower. But now, some people recognize Bellflower. And we will continue to participate, to attend this event, so that we can basically we need to sell Bellflower outside the city, okay? And we will continue to do that. Another thing that will make us stronger is by us helping our businesses to sell their business using technology. One of the best used tools is Yelp. And I mentioned about the Nest. The owners, Mike and Antonio, are very savvy. They use the Nest very cleverly. They attract a lot of customers outside the city. So the Nest has become a place of destination. And we also would like to help businesses to come to Bellflower. We've streamlined our permitting process for restaurants. And to the work of the Temporary Utility Users Tax Oversight Board, we have launched the quarterly economic development newsletter. So this is going to be sent to businesses every quarter. And we will continue to put Bellflower on the map by advertising our businesses, by promoting them, and showing the world that we are here and we are doing well. We're also going to continue cross-promoting among businesses in Bellflower, primarily to the efforts of the YCAF and also the Chamber of Commerce. How many of you have dogs? All right. The new dog park is almost finished. Almost finished. It is on the west terminus of Flora Vista, just west of Clark. I went there yesterday, and they were just installing the benches, and it's basically done. So grand opening is scheduled for next month, and we will let you know, and we could hardly wait for this new dog park to open. Let me just share some kind of information about this. This dog park was designed as a dog park from its inception, okay? Very clear about that. It was designed as a dog park, because I've been to other cities where what they did is they took a small portion of their existing park and put a fence around it and called it a dog park. But this one is going to be a true dog park from the very beginning. So we're looking for sponsors. If you want to sponsor, It's a great opportunity. I need to plug this in, okay? If you want to sponsor, please contact PJ Malana, and he will gladly sign you up. All right, the next project that's coming up is the Byron Zen Park. I know, where is that? That's on the northeast corner of Bellflower, right on Foster Road. It's a small park. It's underneath the Edison line. Now, the good news here is we got funding to make this into a passive park that will provide us with a walking trail and exercise equipment. We also just got recently permission from Edison. So right now, they're working on a contractor to build this new park. The other park that is in the horizon is called the Trabuco Butterfly Garden. It's on that small strip south of Alondra, just before you cross the bridge into Norwalk. Okay? It's currently fenced right now. So we received the grant, we purchased the property, and very soon this will be made into a butterfly garden. One of the complaints we received was from our residents on the southwest side of Bellflower by Constitution Park. There's a strip of land that was a nursery but currently vacant. And what started this was a complaint about overgrown vegetation. So we visited the site, and sure enough, the vegetation was overgrown. So we contacted LADWP, the Department of Water and Public and Power, to clean it up, and they did. But in the process of looking at this property, we thought, why don't we convert it into a park? So we have applied permission from the WP to allow us to use this as a park. So we're waiting for their response. One of the things that I mentioned earlier is about Golden Corral. It's open. It will create more traffic. The busiest street in Bellflower is that small strip between, on the east side, going north on Bellflower Boulevard, between Artesia and the freeway. That's the busiest section of Bellflower. But to the foresight of your city council and your staff, we're doing something about this before it becomes worse. So as part of this development, your city purchased basically the sidewalk of the old building, and we will transform that into the fourth lane of Bellflower Boulevard on the east side. The current status right now is we're waiting for permission from Caltrans to get this working. Funding has been secured to make this happen. In addition to that, there will be additional 13 spaces on the north side of Palm Street, just east of Golden Corral. The improvement on downtown streetscape has been discussed for so many years, but I'm glad to tell you that it's now set, it will happen. One of the best features of this streetscape improvement is what they call the scrambled crosswalk. This location, you're looking at Belmont and Bellflower Boulevard, just in front of the sheriff's station, the kiosk, Belco, that area. So once the scrambled crosswalk becomes available, in one stoplight, you can go any direction you want. Okay? North, east, southwest, you can diagonal, whatever you want, you can go anywhere. That will ease up traffic on downtown Boulevard. The challenge for staff is because we are so busy on downtown. They need to find a window of 4 solid months that there's no activity on downtown Boulevard. Okay? Because they're so busy. Summer Street Fest, car show, Christmas tree lighting. So, but anyway, they found a solution. They found a 4-month window from January to April. So it will happen in 2016. All right, public safety. I know we have some residents here who live by the Valley Christian School. It's always, I know we recognize that. There's a challenge for you to go east, whether you go through Woodruff or directly to Artesia. It's very challenging for you to go east on the direction. And we are doing something about that. We will install a traffic signal light on California and Artesia, so you can safely make a left turn going east on Artesia. The project's been ongoing for the last 6-9 months, and we expect completion in spring of this year. Speaking of being proactive, again about parking, as we have said before, parking is a good problem to solve. If people are asking, there's no place to park in downtown, that is music to our ears, okay? But we're doing something about it. Your city has purchased that unique building on Main and Pacific, just across the train station. It's triangular in shape, okay? Where's the building? So we will move the transit center from its current location in Oak and Edenmore into this new location, at the same time add more parking spaces to be available to our downtown attractions. All right, next one is non-conforming properties. You've heard about this old properties supposed to be abated after so many years. So Bellflower was a built community when it became incorporated. So in 1962, they passed an ordinance allowing, prescribing abatement of non-conforming properties after 20 years. So 1982. So if your property is not conforming, you have 20 years to do something about it, otherwise you are in deep jeopardy, okay? In 1982, that was pushed again for another 20 years, ending in 2002, okay? And in 2002, it was moved again for another 12 years to end in 2014. So your staff, your city council got tired of this because basically we were just kicking the can around. Hopefully something will happen. Nothing had happened in the last 52 years, and we want to do something about this because this is one of the things that is a bone of contention between our residents and the city. Legal nonconforming is, to simply describe it, is when the property was built, it conformed with the city ordinance, city code back then. But over the years, codes have changed. And so if the property is no longer conforming at the time the codes was changed, so it's classified as non-conforming, okay? So the city staff and council and the planning commission took a very aggressive effort on this. We launched a 3-step process to basically address these issues because we cannot continue kicking this can around for so long. So the immediate relief was to extend the abatement period for another 8 years. So this will end in 2022. So it's a big challenge for us. So basically what we did is we set a deadline. We want to get this addressed, not just kick around for the next 8 years. We will address this. So that's the immediate relief, so that people who are non-conforming in their property do not be afraid that something's going to happen about their property. So we extend for another 8 years. So that's done. So we extended the waiting period. We also modified the square footage triggers. But let me talk about the short term. Short term is from 2 to 6 years. So we're now on the second phase of this program, short term. We need to amend the code related to common issues. And let me give you an example, because what we're doing right now is instead of approaching the city as a whole, we're approaching it neighborhood by neighborhood, because each neighborhood is different from the other. Okay, let me give you an example. The neighborhood on Foster Road on the north, Rosecrans on the south, Clark Avenue on the west, and Bellflower Boulevard on the east. Okay, picture that location towards the north middle part of the city. There are 579 lots in that neighborhood. Out of 579, there are 32 lots that are basically corner lots, facing 2 streets. Okay, out of the 32 corner lots, there are 10 properties that are legally non-conforming. Because they're non-conforming, because of their garage is facing a side street. They need a setback of, they needed a setback of 20 feet. By changing the code from 20 feet to 10 feet, all of these 10 homes are now legally conforming. Okay? So basically, what we're doing here is we're evaluating the neighborhood instead of saying, these are the codes and these are your homes. By the way, your homes have been built already. Oh, by the way, these things are not conforming. We're analyzing its neighborhood to basically make the neighborhood be reflective into the code instead of the other way around. So our goal, our estimation at this point, is this will be about 8-year process, is we estimate that more than half of the legally non-conforming properties will be legally conforming by the end of 8 years. So this will give us a great relief for a lot of the homeowners in Bellflower. So in closing, I just want to say that you noticed the logo earlier. There's an arch, Bellflower, strong today, stronger tomorrow. We use that intentionally because one of the things that will beautify the city coming up is an actual arch. This is the actual arch. This is the concept of the arch that will be installed on Bellflower Boulevard between the train station and the new transit center to welcome our visitors, our residents to our downtown Bellflower. Bellflower is strong today because of you. You're involved. You're here. You know what's going on in the city. But what will make the city stronger? We'll continue to work with you, with the staff, with everyone to make the city stronger. But you can participate in making the city stronger by being more involved. When I say more involved is do more things. I know I'm preaching to the choir, but if you can do more things, if you can ask more people to get involved, and here's examples of how you can be more involved. One is public safety. Be active in your neighborhood watch. If you can, participate in volunteers on patrol. Economically, you can get involved. You can buy in Bellflower, dine in Bellflower, and my best example is buy gas in Bellflower. Because gas is the same everywhere you want. If you want Shell, the Shell gas station in Bellflower or Arco is the same Shell in the neighboring cities. So why don't you pump gas in Bellflower? Because keep in mind, we get the sales tax dollars, we get the gasoline tax. So that's how you can get involved economically. Quality of life, we have so many things to offer at this point. So please participate, enjoy what we can offer. Street fest, movie nights, Christmas tree lights, because we want you to be there. Because the more you get involved, the more you'll know about Bellflower. Bellflower is strong today because of you. It will be stronger because of you. You've been a good audience. Thank you so much for listening. May God bless the city of Bellflower. May God bless the United States of America. Thank you so much, and have a great day.